just a quick go through on Thermo Kings. This is the Thermo King. I'm using our brand new 24 trailer. All Thermo Kings are pretty much the same, just like this. They look the same. You got your on, you got your off, you got your defrost, you got your stop and start and continuous button. Now, defrost is if the reefer's not defrosting the ice that's built up in the coils properly. So that means if there's ice built up in the coils, that means there's not enough air flowing through to cool the box down. So you would have to come over here and click on the defrost button. And that's pretty much what that's for. Now, this is stop and start in continuous mode. So you just would have to click on that, and it'll automatically show you up here, which I'll probably show you in the later in the video. Basically, you can either have it on continuous, which makes the reefer run 24/7. It does not turn off unless you turn it off, or if there's an issue and it automatically just turns itself off. Stop and start is just like the AC in your house. If you set it to a temperature and it hits that temperature, your AC will go off. And then when it starts to warm back up, your AC will kick back on. Same concept with the stop and start. This lighting's killing me. So basically what you want to do, just to turn it on, it says on. Click on it. You'll see it say Thermo King. First thing that pops up. Now, it'll say configuring system. All reefers take a minute to turn on. So, it has to go through its system and make sure that everything's working properly before it decides to try to kick on. That's how I look at it. It's just going through the motions and making sure it works, or everything's fine. While it's doing that, you'll see this pop up. You'll see the amber K. Any amber light on a reefer is technically not a good thing. So if it's amber, there's an issue, which heads up, it's low on fuel. So if there's an amber light, there's an alarm. That's the alarm code symbol, meaning there's something wrong. And then it'll tell you that it's about to start up. Now normally, if there's nothing wrong with it, it would look something like this. You'll have a white T, and it won't even show what's wrong with it. Now, how to set your temp. Right now, since it just started, you got these items on the bottom right here. Normally, if it's already been running for a while, hours or so, these will disappear, but you'll still have the menu button. So that's what it'll look like if they're not on the bottom. So all you have to do is click on the menu, and it'll pop up and give you this setting. So you can click on the set point. So while they're up, you're able to come over here, go to set temp, or set point, click on it, and it's set for 32 degrees right now. So you click on it to go up, and these reefers go as low as -20. Yeah, -20. So we're gonna put it up because I don't want it to get louder. Now that's want to set it for 78. Once you get it there, you have to click yes. If you don't click yes, it will automatically go back. Now, we're going to find out if it's on stop and start. So you click on it, it's on cycle mode, so it's on stop and start. Now, if you don't want it on stop and start, you click it again, and they'll put it to continuous mode. So now, it's on continuous mode, and they'll run non-stop. So, you put it on cycle mode, which is stop and start, it'll just stop, it'll do its thing, stop and start, on and off. Now, this is stop and start mode. It's set for 30 degrees. Inside this trailer is 30 degrees. So now it's gonna sit, it's gonna stay off and just monitor. Now you see how the temp is slowly rising up. Now, depending on the reefer or how they have it programmed, it will turn back on within 2 to 5 degrees difference. So that's why you see that 0.3 slowly creeping up. Yeah, 0.4 now. Yeah. So stop and start means it doesn't constantly have to run unless you're hauling product to where it's supposed to. You can also, if you just want to figure out if the reefer is going to work for you and not have any issues at the time you pick it up, you could always go to menu. Go to menu. Sometimes you have to click twice. And you see where it says pre-trip, the very top. Pre-trip. You select it. Now it's going to do its own pre-trip. Now what that does, it goes through the sensors and gauges and everything in the reefer unit. And it'll take anywhere about 5 to 10 minutes, maybe 15. They're all different. And it will let you know if it's good to go or not. If it's not, you'll get that amber K, and then it'll tell you up here that it's not. So that's just an extra thing, and so on and so forth. Now there's really not a lot to it after that. See, it's doing the buzzing test, so it's just going through its system. But other than that, there's really not a lot to these when it comes to running them. Now, right now, technically the reefer, if the reefer wasn't on stop and start and it was running right now, it would still do its pre-trip as it's running. So it doesn't have to be running to do a pre-trip on itself. It will kick itself on because, like I said, it'll do its heat test and cooling test. So right now it's probably going to kick on and do a heat test. So now, as you can see, it's on its first defrost test. So we're almost to the finish line on it. Now you can see that it's on its cool test. The first part of the cool test. Checking to see if it's gonna cool the reefer down or the box down. Alright, so as you can see, it passed. Still got the white T, and it passed its test. So now all you gotta do is press exit, and it'll go back. And it will go up temperature when it's defrosting. So don't worry about that. Everybody knows about that. It might go up to that, even though it's set to there. It was only defrosting is why it's so high. Which shippers and receivers, they should already know this. Which I think they do, because I do this basically for a living. and it's already starting to drop 10. And if you see this arrow is going down, that means it's dropping 10. Now if it was pointing up, that means it's heating it up. Don't forget, this is the temperature you got it set for. This is the temperature that's inside the trailer. Alright, so now if this is off for some reason, or it's on but it's not starting, and you got an amber code to where that's amber, and you got an alarm code, all you have to do is go to menu, find the alarm, go down, select it, and then it'll tell you what's wrong. Some codes are just faulty, and you'll have a clear button right here, and you can just clear it. But depending on what it is, you always want to write it down. That way you can let Breakdown know what this is saying, even though they should know what it's saying, but it's better for you to know what's going on with it. And then you just clear it or exit. And all this other stuff is more into depth. I'm just trying to show you just the basics of it right now. And then once you're not using it and you know you're not going to be picking up a load, so you don't have to pre-cool it, just turn it off. And that's pretty much the day-to-day routine. It's not complicated. Look at it, read it, understand it. If you could read, you could do this. Also, you open this up, here's the battery. The coolant sits way on the very top. The only way you can put coolant in it is you gotta be up top to get to the cap to put coolant in. Pull this, pull it down, and then you got the reefer. Come on. Oh, wrong way. You got this little thing that keeps it from swinging. This is the reefer unit. That lever pops open for the mechanic get more into it. There's not much that you're gonna do in here, but you can see if there's any leaks or whatever. Close it the same way you opened it. Over here, you got your Freon and all that, which nobody would really mess with it besides the mechanic. Alright, the other thing is, besides the reefer, for Thermo Kings, for Swift, this box is for your registration. If there's no registration in here, which you turn this, pop it off, that's the registration for this trailer. That's where it goes. If it's not there, you come over here, flip this down and open it, and there's a laminated one that sits in here. A lot of trailers are laminated right here. This is a newer one, so it doesn't have it. This box is for your bill of lading, your paperwork, when you T-call a load at a yard. You have this. This is for the federal inspection when it's due next. This is for the next PM service when it's due. This is for the trailer only. They're just talking about the trailer, the box, the whole thing. That's what that's for. It's just like the one you got on your truck. Similar. Same concept though. But they also have one for the reefer. This is for the reefer. So it has its service within 6 months and 3,000 hours or 2 years. So they each have their own sticker of when it needs to be serviced. And that's just pretty much the rundown of that. You got the side of the trailer, you got the landing gear. Basically any of the R2 trailers, the landing gear handle is on the driver's side. The older trailers, they're on the passenger side. This is the fuel tank for the reefer. This is the ones that I'm messing with right now are brand new. So this one has just under a quarter of a tank of fuel. So that's why it's low. Anytime you drop a loaded trailer or an empty trailer at a shipper, receiver, terminal, whatever, no less than 3/4 of a tank of fuel. If you can, go ahead and fill it up. But if it has more than 3/4, it's okay. But this is a 50-gallon tank, holds up to 50 gallons, and it will last a good amount, depending on what you got the reefer set for, and we'll get to that. These are the side skirts. I walk down and kick them. You got your turn signal. Of course, you got your tandems. And you got your 40-foot mark for California. Now, this isn't your dry van. Dry van, you have a lever that you pull to get your pins in. This is air ride. So once you have enough air through the system, you set your trailer brakes and pull this lever. When you pull this lever, these pins will pop in. Unless you gotta take the tension off of them, but they pop in. That's the only difference, because reefer trailers, they ride with airbags. So we got 4 airbags. With the dry vans, they ride with, see, dry van is a lever. You pull it and it has little grooves at the end, basically where it's bent, and that's where it'll pull the pins in. Now as you can see, there's no airbags in here. Dry vans, they don't have airbags. At least Swift doesn't have airbags on their dry vans. And of course, the back of the trailer, you got your license plate. Alright. New trailer, so not all the trailers are gonna look like this. Now, you see there's no damage, there's no holes on the sidewall of the trailer. It's pretty much how you want it. The positive is the new trailers, they put aluminum down at the bottom, because these walls get damaged. If you have a hole in it where it's currently 9:20, where it's showing foam or anything on the other side, the shipper will not take it. You always want to make sure your floor is clean too. Those orange things up top, they're either on the side how they are, on the corners of the top, or you got one straight down the middle. Those are called chutes. So when you hear someone talk about their chutes or hanging or whatnot, that's what they're talking about. These chutes cannot hang down. If they're hanging, the customer probably won't take the trailer. Now what happens is, straight ahead on the very top where it splits, that's the air coming from the reefer coming straight back to the door. And it's supposed to do like a circular motion like that. Best way for me to explain it. I'm not the best at it, but yeah. Even up here, like they're trying to do this to where they could take them off and whatnot, but in all reality, they do break. Shippers don't care about the trailer. They will cut these up and break them, and the pallets scrape them and all that stuff. This line doesn't mean nothing to the shippers half the time, because if you read, it says please use care when loading and unloading this equipment. If you damage it anyway, you will be responsible for the cost of the repair. Thank you. They don't care about that. But anyways, on the other side of this, there's a hole. The air is coming from the reefer that's on the other side. So the air is shooting out and it's going through here and goes all the way to the back. Now this you might see just sitting here on the ground because they tear these up too. But in a perfect world, this is how you would want your trailer to look like. Perfect trailer, because it's brand new. So those are the chutes. Try to explain the concept of it for a lot of the new drivers out there. I'm down here. If you see water coming out of these lines right here, don't worry about it. It's just that ice built up that's in the coil. Of course, gives you the height of the trailer and more details of the trailer.